What is up, boys? Ron from Never Lucky Fantasy Football. Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be talking about 5 players, 5 running backs that I think are going to smash in Week 7. These guys either have really good matchups or they're favorites in a high over-under game. Make sure you guys like the video if you do like it and subscribe if you're new. And let's get into this video. And the first player we got to talk about is Quinshon Judkins. Coming off a bad game, man. 40% of snaps. He only went 12 for 36. Jerome Ford was on the field way too much. I hate Jerome Ford. I hope he gets traded away. We want to see Quinshon Judkins continue to eat. I want to see him get more targets, more receptions. So he can be a full workhorse running back. But on deck, they get the Miami Dolphins, who are a cure to a lot of problems. A lot of illnesses, a lot of diseases can be cured by going up against the Miami Dolphins defense. They are butt cheeks, dude. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. They can't stop a nosebleed. They can't stop addicted to the shindig. In Week 5, they gave up like 230 plus scrimmage yards to Rico Dowdle. And keep in mind, Rico Dowdle was averaging like less than 3 yards per carry before he played the Cowboys and the Dolphins. He was cat shit. I don't care what anyone says. He was bad. He was looking like just a pure handcuff, somebody that wasn't going to threaten Chuba Hubbard very much down the stretch, but nevertheless. And then in Week 6, they went up against the Chargers and Kimani Vidal, dude, the forgotten man, somebody who everyone wrote off essentially. He busted them for 124 yards. So this Miami defense is absolutely atrocious. They cannot stop anything, as I mentioned. And one more thing, man, in Cleveland for this Dolphins-Browns game, 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts. This is going to be a game, dude, where both teams are really not going to be able to pass the ball very much. There's going to be a 94% chance of rain, 36 miles per hour gusts, and 65 degrees. Going up against one of the worst run defenses, this is going to be nice, man. Dylan Gabriel, in all of his starts, he looked like he's throwing into 50 mile per hour winds to begin with. So I think there's massive explosion potential here. I really do think he has like RB1 overall potential if the Browns stop fucking around. Give this man 25 touches, give him a couple of targets, let him create after the catch. Stop giving the ball to Jerome Ford. Please, I beg of you, dude. I will literally sacrifice a gypsy, a goat, a sheep. Please just get Jerome Ford to hit the showers, man. I just want to see a game where Quinshon can be at least a top 5 guy. He's set up perfectly for it. If Rico Dowdle had 30 points on the Panthers, and Quinshon Judkins can't get 20 fantasy points, man, I'm quitting fantasy football. I'm going to go play Diablo 2 or something, man. So next we got Jordan Mason going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, typically that wouldn't sound too good, right? The Eagles are typically known to have a really good defense. Now, the Eagles have allowed an average of 29 fantasy points, which is 6th worst in the NFL, to running backs the past 4 weeks. I looked at some of the data, seasonal as well as the past 4 weeks, just to see how they're performing lately. On the total season, they are 26th in yards allowed, so they're even worse on the season. Their secondary is great, but they're somewhat of a run funnel this year. I know. Now, any given week, they could show up and they could bottle up the run. This is a team that's definitely competent, definitely capable. At the end of the day, if you have a good secondary, you can load up the box, so that's kind of like the concern here with Jordan Mason. But thus far, the Eagles have not been able to really stop the run. And in Week 3, when Jordan Mason did get a full workload against also a bad run D, which was Cincinnati, he went for 23 fantasy points, man. You guys see, you're 16 for 116, 2 touchdowns. This is a game where I expect it to go the following, man. The Vikings are not going to be able to pass the ball very much. They're going to just be running the ball with Jordan Mason. They're going to be checking it down to Xavier Scott, checking it down to TJ Hawkinson, trying to get Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison a little bit more involved, but I think they're going to struggle to do that. I think this is going to be a Mason game, man. I think this is going to be a game where they're really just going to want to keep the ball away from the Eagles. Potential explosion game here for Jordan Mason. And this is like taking candy from a baby, dude. We got the Dallas Cowboys on deck for Bill Croskey-Merritt. Now, this game is crazy. The Commanders at Cowboys with a 54.5 over-under. And the Commanders are a slight favorite. So that might be the highest over-under on the season so far. The Cowboys' run defense is 29th on the season in rushing yards allowed, 2nd worst in fantasy points allowed the past 4 weeks, and 3rd worst the last 2 weeks. So they've been bad on the season. They're bad in general. Their pass defense is bad. Their run defense is bad. And Jacory Croskey-Merritt is coming off a game where he had the most touches that he's had. He went 17 for 61. I will say his efficiency isn't really there, and he's not really getting a lot of like passing game work. In Week 5, he did get 2 catches for 39 yards. That's really nice. That's like, 3.5 fantasy points, 4 fantasy points in the bank, right into his pocket. It just helps his floor. If he doesn't get the targets, I don't know if he has like a 30-point game in his bag. Like we saw that 26-point game where he had to get 2 touchdowns, 111 rushing yards plus the receiving work. So the team did say that they still have a lot of confidence in Jacory Croskey despite the fumbling issues. He had 1 fumble that was credited to him, and then he had that other one where it was like a handoff with JD5. It was raining. It was wet. I don't know if we're going to put that on him. They ended up putting it on JD5, but nevertheless, they have confidence in him. I see him as a top 10 play this week with big upside. again, man, if they use him a little bit more as a receiver and they actually get him some more dump offs where he can create in space, it's just set up, dude. The over under is fantastic. The Cowboys cannot stop a nosebleed. Make sure you guys put Bill into your lineups, dude. I think this is going to be the game where he's going to fully show up and potentially get like 20 plus opportunities, 20 plus touches. And he's going to be essentially unbuyable. You're not going to be able to trade for him. You're not going to be able to buy him. He's just going to fully show up in this game, and he's going to be rest of the season like ranked as like a top 15 guy in my opinion. Next, we got Fumble Magoo, Darth Fumbles, Peanut Butter Hands, Buttered Popcorn Fingers, Rhamondre Stevenson. Actually, a pretty good start in week 7. They play against the Tennessee Titans. I'm like 33% sure that Rhamondre Stevenson has a contract incentive where if he hits like 10 fumbles on the season, he gets like a big payday, dude. It's absolutely insane how much this guy fumbles, how much he's been fumbling the past like couple seasons that he's been in the league. And he just seems to keep getting more and more work, dude. I guess the more he fumbles, the more confidence Vrabel has in his inabilities. So the AFC East leading Patriots, they play the 1-5 Titans at home, with New England being a 6.5-point favorite. This is a smash start, dude. Essentially, the Patriots look phenomenal. Drake May is absolutely slinging it. He's killing it, dude. The offense looks great. They're humming. Their run game is struggling, but this is kind of like a get-right game, dude. Similar to the Dolphins, man. This is just the remedy to a bad run game. So the last 4 weeks, the Titans have given up the 3rd most fantasy points per game to running backs, about 29.5 fantasy points. 4th most on the season as a whole. So they're bleeding fantasy points to the running back position. And Fumble Johnson over here is going to get fed, dude. He's just going to be in a positive game script. He's probably going to get a quadruple double. Carries, yards, fumbles, and touchdowns. He's gonna have a Russell Westbrook type of stat line. In all seriousness, dude, I really do think he's a great start in a very positive game script against a very bad defense. There's just a couple of concerns I have with the Titans, man. They just fired their head coach. For some reason, teams after a firing, they have kind of an uptick in covering their point spread. It's not very much. It's like a 15 to 20% increase in covering the spread, which for anyone who doesn't know like sports betting terminology, all that means is that if, let's say, the Patriots are a 6.5-point favorite, there's like a 20% higher chance that the team that's the underdog actually covers that spread. Like they don't get blown out by more than whatever that spread was. So maybe it's confidence, maybe it's motivation, maybe it's dopamine. I don't really know what it is, but it seems that teams after they fire their head coaches, they just play a little bit better. The Titans are actually 20th best in yards per carry allowed, and they're actually 8th best the last 3 games. So they don't actually give up like massive gash plays very often. They don't give up a lot of like yards per touch. They just get run on so much, right? It's just a volume play at that point because they're always losing. So the winning team's usually just running and running and running. So that's Rhamondre Stevenson, man. We can even see Treveyon Henderson kind of get involved in this. At this point, if Treveyon Henderson is going to be relevant, like it would probably have to be in a game like this, right? So like if you're looking for a deep flyer and you've just been sitting on Treveyon Henderson, I think him and Stevenson are both pretty good picks. But obviously, I lean towards Stevenson in a very positive game script. Hopefully, he can just keep the ball in his hands and not fumble it. And I think you can probably pencil him in for 15 plus carries in this game. And then obviously a pretty good shot at goal line work, right? Now we move along to Kimani Vidal, dude. Where did this guy even come from, dude? The last player on this list. The Chargers are actually favorites in this game. It's a 48.5-point over-under against the Colts. The Colts run defense is actually pretty solid, but it's not great. It's like in the upper third for sure. 12th best in yards allowed on the season, and actually 4th best in fantasy points allowed to running backs the last 4 weeks. They're not giving up a lot of points to running backs, and they've been good on the season. So Vidal is not necessarily a smash start where it's like he's going to have this 30-point ceiling. He's going to get so many touches. But the reason I have him as like a very sneaky good start, where I do think he's going to outperform his ranking, is that he's expected to be the receiving back too. So that's kind of where there's a little bit of insulation, right? Like last game, he had 4 targets. He had 3 for 14 and a touchdown. So he also gets 18 for 124 on the ground. So I think this is going to be very similar to last game where Hassan Haskins, they're going to try to use him as the early down back. He's going to get 2 yards per carry. They realize they can't really run the ball traditionally. They're going to come with Vidal after that, and he's going to be a lot more dynamic out of the backfield as maybe a pass catcher, maybe as like a zone outside runner. And this was a tweet from Jacob Gibbs. He said, according to Fantasy Points Data Suite, only Jonathan Taylor averaged more yards after contact per attempt than Kimani Vidal in week 6. Actually kind of crazy to be up there in company with Jonathan Taylor. One more tweet here from Davis Maddock. Kimani Vidal produced only the 9th instance of an RB with 130 scrimmage yards and a touchdown since the Chargers drafted Justin Herbert. You guys can see the list here of running backs that have done it. Austin Eckler, an absolute mainstay here. Justin Jackson popped up. I even remember that game. Justin Jackson, I played against him. It was like in the fantasy playoffs. But there's a little Kimani Vidal, man, number 9, where, you know, he did really well, dude. In the one game, he actually got a lot of work. That does it for the video, guys. Thank you for giving me your time. Thank you. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. 5 players I think are smash starts. I tried to go beyond kind of your top 10. I know Judkins and Croskey-Merritt are kind of on the fringe, but I want to dig a little bit deeper, look for the matchups, look for kind of the discrepancy between rankings and where I think guys are going to finish. Make sure you guys join the Discord, link down below. Dope, growing community. We're talking about every day. We're helping each other with sit starts, trade advice, all that kind of stuff. Make sure you guys join it, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.